which is something that I feel like everybody can relate to when it comes to what is happening. Well, it's not even necessarily what's happening. I think now more people are paying attention just because of everything that's happening with the whole government. Hold on. Put that board behind me. All right. Make sure my volume is up. Why does this thing keep popping up? I'm gonna just swipe it. I'll remove it later. I don't know why. They keep on pinning this. Boom, boom, boom. Let me redo this live. Hey, 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 what's up, X? Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm trying to restart my live on Facebook. Oh, there we go. I can remove it. I don't know what is going on with my phone. Tonight I definitely have a different topic, which is talking about the importance of ownership, real estate, investing in some type of land or property. Hopefully, maybe now what some people are going through with the government, this topic may open up to more people. All right, so now we live on all three platforms. So I just wanted to make sure I was live on all platforms. So good evening, good evening, good evening. I'll let a couple of people chime on in before we get started. So tonight I am talking about real estate, land, ownership, and the importance of it. I saw a post today with a guy talking about renting. Oh, I saw a post today with a guy asking, is $80,000 enough to live off of? And it was so many people in the comments that were saying how much their rent was. And I just was like, wow, like that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to be paying somebody and you don't have any type of ownership towards it. So I wanted to have this conversation tonight with renting versus real estate versus owning versus looking at acquiring you land or property, and just open up the dialogue and the mindset. Because I feel like this conversation, some people are limited to how you think. You might be limited to what you think is available to you as far as resources. So I wanted to talk about this tonight because that post alone just made me kind of cringe. Like people were saying that they was paying $2,500, $3,000 a month to rent. $3,000 a month is $36,000 a year. You $36,000 a year and you don't own it. You're not building towards ownership. I'm not paying nobody $3 a month and they still own the property. No, ma'am. No, sir. No. So I think we need to have this conversation. I had this conversation before, but let's break it down even more in terms of what makes sense, but then also in terms of setting it up as a business, right? Or using the tax code, because that's the other thing that I talk about a lot on my page and my channel is we use the tax code over here. Okay. What's going on, Chico? You get straight to it, Chico. Straight to the questions. Let's roll. Let's roll. Okay, let me see if your question is fine for me to answer now. We're gonna answer it later. If I have a LLC, could my business pay for the land? Heck yeah. Heck yeah, Chico. Your business should be paying for the land. That's the smart way to do it. Okay. That's the smart way to do it. That's the smart way to do it. That's definitely the way you go. You buy the business, you set up the LLC, and the business buys the land, and the business buys your properties. Because you talked about that, buying the land, Chico, and then building you some I forgot what you said you was gonna do with the land, but I was happy and excited the last time you commented about the land. You had a whole plan and a game plan. So yes, Chico, that's the great way to do it. You say Arizona, here I come for real. Yeah, I remember you having that conversation. What's up, Raj? Good evening, good evening, good evening. So I will just let you all know that I am on all of my platforms right now. I am on Patrice. I'm Patrice L. Stewart on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram right now. I also want to say there are several fake pages of me, especially on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. I'm on Instagram and Facebook and my YouTube channel. But on Facebook, a couple of people have messaged me. It must be a new fake page. It's a lot of fake pages on me. So just make sure that y'all are following the correct page. I would never message you. I don't DM you. I have no reason to reach out to you individually and DM you. Okay. I don't have Cash App. I don't ask people for Cash App. I'm not begging and asking for you to send me no money. So I'm gonna need some of y'all to use your common sense. Okay. If you get a message, that's not me. Okay. Put that public service announcement out here right now. All right. Don't be talking about, I sent Patrice. You ain't sent Patrice nothing. You sent a scammer something. Okay. And you should have used your brain not to be sending no scammer no money, because I'm definitely not going to be on here talking to you about money and finances and then in y'all DM begging for no Cash App. Like, that don't even make sense. Please make it make sense. So on Facebook, currently I have about 32,000 followers. TikTok, I have about 91,000 followers. YouTube channel, we got about 28,000 followers. And on Instagram, it's increased over this last month. So now it's like 12,000 followers, right? But the name itself, Patrice L. Stewart, is not going to be a number behind it. It's not going to be a dash. That's how y'all know it's fake pages. Okay. And then you have to look at the page. If it look new, it's no post on it. Hello, that's not me. All right. So I just want to put that out there right now in the front. And y'all don't got to message me every time y'all see a fake page. This is how it is on the internet when you got a voice and when you have a little following. That's what the scammers do. They try to impersonate you. So this is just part of the business. Okay. You don't got to message me every time every time you see a fake page. It is what it is. I can't control it. These platforms allow people to keep making pages, and that's why I no longer pay for a blue check. If y'all notice, I used to pay for a blue check on Facebook and Instagram. What the hell I'm paying Facebook and Instagram $15 a month for to be myself, to be a real page? Like, y'all, baby, they scamming y'all. Y'all need to cancel that $15 a month, especially if you especially if you literally sitting here paying Facebook $15 a month per account. They wanted you to pay $15 on Facebook and $15 a month on Instagram. That's $30 a month. Why? And y'all still allowing people to create fake pages of me. Baby, bye. I canceled that shit with the quickness. I barely paid them for 2 months. I will never do it again. So just know that if y'all paying for a blue check, and they still will allow people to create fake pages of y'all. So you wasting your money. Now back to it. The topic at hand tonight is real estate, ownership, land. All right. I saw a post earlier today with a guy asking some ladies at a table, is $80,000 a month enough to live on? So I'm going to ask y'all that same question. Is $80,000 a month? I'm sorry, not a month. Annual salary of $80,000. Is that enough to live on where you are? Now, remember, everybody live in different states. Chicago, New York, LA are the top 3 cities in the country. So our rents are normally higher, right? Some of you all may live in a smaller state, so your rent may not be as much, right? But what prompted me to host this live tonight was the comments that I saw and the amount of people that were sharing how much they pay in rent, because everybody know that's your highest expense out of your salary. Whatever you pay, whatever you make a year, your cost of living expense is your highest expense, right? Your dwelling, whether you rent a house, whether you own a house, whether you rent an apartment, whether you own an apartment condo, that's normally your highest bill, right? And then your car note, if you have a car note or something like that, right? So let's talk about that. If you know that your dwelling, in order for you to sleep somewhere at night, in order for you and your family, your kids to be taken care of and not sleeping in your car or sleeping outside in the rain, you know that your highest cost is a place for you to stay, right? A place for you to stay. So why aren't more of you focused on having a solid place to stay where you're not renting? I never really, I wanted to really ask that. It was so many people on that man's comment. It probably was like 10,000 comments. And I ain't lying. I went through at least half of them. I'm going to say at least 5,000 comments. I ain't gonna lie. And majority of these people were renting. And so some of them were saying how they rent is anywhere from, I didn't see nothing really less than 2,000. 2,000 to some people was paying like 3,000, 3,200. I think a lot of those people was in New York. But I think this is more of a question and conversation that we really need to start having, especially if you all are paying attention to what's happening in the world today. If you are paying attention to what's going on, how many of these corporations are buying houses by the boatload. Chase, what's BlackRock? BlackRock owns whole cities, like whole communities. Corporations should not be allowed to buy single family homes, but they are. All right. So the society that we live in today, they don't want y'all to own nothing. They want y'all to be in a place of where you are constantly renting, constantly borrowing, constantly needing the government. All right. So let's talk about that. How can you change that? One, a lot of our parents and grandparents bought their property, own their property, right? And if you are in the Black community, your grandparents may or may not talk about this. RJ, you say 80K is approximately 3,800 roughly. And if you go to Argentina, that's 300,000 a year in Colombia. See, RJ, but everybody not going to Colombia. See, that's you that's on the road, G. We got to talk realistic. The average American is going to be here. They not going to Argentina. So I know that's your spot. You probably there right now, right? But let's be realistic in this particular case, right, RJ? And that's why I'm saying we got to talk from a level of American citizens and how Americans are living today. The average American is not picking up and going to Colombia. I'll come and visit you. I told you, but I ain't moving there. You know what I'm saying? So let's give me another example. I saw you make. I think you made another post earlier, comment earlier. Depends if it's passive income or active income. So I said that this is people's salary. Average salary. Everybody don't do passive income. We gonna stick to the average American citizen. Okay. The average American citizen works a 9 to 5, a W-2 job, and the average American citizen either rents or gets a mortgage towards home ownership. Okay. Those are the two that we sticking with. Not nothing outside of that. Right. Y'all love to bring up all this other stuff. We talking about average right now. All right. We're talking about average. Y'all love to be sticking in these little pencils here and there. We know it's a bunch of people that's doing stuff another way, but the average American citizen is not. All right. So this is the conversation that we're going to have tonight. Now, I'm going to share with you all an example of how I acquired 2 properties, right? And how I'm up. I'm up in equity right now, because one of the comments, I had this conversation a couple of weeks ago, and a young lady got on there and she said, home ownership, you don't really own your house until you pay it off for 30 years. And that is a huge misconception. That's a huge misconception. You do not have to pay your house off to have value in it. You do not have to pay your house off to earn equity, to build equity. Okay. So let's talk about that. My family house that I grew up in, my family member paid that mortgage for about 25 years. Right. So I just had a feeling and I reached out to them. I knew they were older. I knew that their income had changed. That was another thing. When your parents and grandparents retire, right? When they're no longer working their 9 to 5 job, a lot of their incomes change. Okay. So they go from a 9 to 5 income to maybe retirement or only Social Security. Everybody didn't get retirement. That particular family member, they didn't get retirement in the type of job that they were in. They were in a commission-based sales job. So they didn't have a retirement plan from that particular job, which is another reason why I talk to y'all about you cannot only have a retirement plan through your job. If your only retirement plan through your job, you're not winning. You have to set up a separate retirement account through Fidelity, E-Trade, Charles Schwab, something like that, and put your own money into a retirement bearing account, not depending on your job. Because guess what? If these jobs want to fire you tomorrow, guess what goes away? That 401k. Right? You can walk away. You can roll it over into another plan when you leave a job, but that retirement plan is over. You're not getting any more money. It's not going to be there. Okay. So I don't want to get off point with that though. So their income changes. And like I said, if you are in the Black community, this may not be a conversation that you have all the time with your elders. A lot of our elders are stubborn. A lot of them are not going to tell you, hey, I need help, right? But if you know your grandmother or your grandfather owns their house, they've paid their house off, or it's damn near paid off. Majority of them own their house, 30 years mortgages. A lot of them own their house outright, free and clear. I challenge you to go to them and ask them and have a conversation with them. Okay. Because sometimes they are going through things and they may not share that with you. So I ended up reaching out to my family member and saying, hey, if you ever considering letting that house go, let me know. I will be willing to take over it, to take over the payments, to do whatever we need to do, because it makes no sense that you paid that mortgage for 25 plus years and then you may just decide to let it go or something like that, right? Well, lo and behold, less than 2 months later, I got a phone call saying that the house was in foreclosure, that it was getting ready to go to court for foreclosure proceedings. And so I immediately jumped in and paid the money to get it out of foreclosure. We signed a quitclaim deed that allowed me legal rights to the property, because also you can use a quitclaim deed when you actually know the person, when it's a family member. Let's just say that when it's a family member, your mother, your auntie, your grandmama, when it's a family member, you can use that quitclaim deed. Okay. And then I took over the mortgage payments. Now I bought that house at the end of 2019, right? So at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, that house was worth approximately in that area $100,000. Okay. The mortgage balance at that time was less than 40,000. Okay. right around 40,000. So paying the mortgage for the last 5 years now, 2025. Now the mortgage balance is down to maybe 30,000. All right. But guess what? The equity has gone up in the property. So in 5 years, the equity in the property is around maybe 225,000 to 250,000. Maybe could get more than that, right? Just going on the Chase website and looking up the home equity value. That's what Chase said, about 225,000. Now, there are properties in that area that have sold for way more than that, 275,000, 300,000. It's a property that just sold in that area for about 375,000. So this is what you all have to understand. Ownership, you do not have to pay a mortgage off for 30 years, like that young lady thought, right? And this is why we have to have these conversations. Just because you get a home and you get a mortgage, it does not mean you have to pay it off for 30 years for it to be valuable to you. Most property, when you purchase it, it's an asset. So it's going to increase over time. I'm up 125,000 minimum in 5 years and I didn't do nothing. You get what I'm saying? I got the property at the end of 2019. It was worth 100,000. Today in 2025, it's minimum worth 225. If I want it, you get what I'm saying? If I want it, and y'all know I'm interactive on here. So if I sold the property today for 225,000, and if I have a mortgage balance of 30,000, how much will I walk away with? 225,000 minus 30,000. How much would I walk away with? I know the number right in my head. I can see it clear as day, but y'all know I like y'all to be interactive and talk. So I know that you understanding the conversation over here. If I could sell the property today for 225,000 and the mortgage balance is 30,000, how much am I walking away with? YouTube, y'all usually be quicker than that now. What's going on? 225 minus 30,000. I ain't waiting on y'all. 195,000. I'm walking away with 195,000, approximately, right? Because then let's take out an additional 5,000 in fees. You got to pay, you got to pay closing costs. You got to pay some other stuff. So let's just take 5,000 out in fees. Minimum, I'm walking away with 190 bands. See the difference? I ain't had this property for 5 years. I haven't had that property for 5 years. I mean, I've had that property 5 years. If I wanted to sell it today, I would be walking away with $190,000. I don't know who told y'all that you got to pay a mortgage off for 30 years, but that's incorrect. So why are we not having more conversations around home ownership versus renting? Because like I said, I'm not paying nobody no $3,000 a month. That's 36 bands a year. Do y'all know that y'all have paid those people, whoever you live, wherever you live, and you paying somebody $3,000 a month, and you paid them $36,000 for 10 years? That's $360,000. That's $360,000. That's 2 of my family houses. 2 of them. You could have bought 2 houses in 10 years. You see the difference? Now, people say all the time, well, I'm okay with renting and not doing this and not doing that. But I need you to not be okay with just renting. Because if you are, then that means you're not paying attention to what's happening in the world. That means you're not paying attention to the economy. That means you're not paying attention to how these companies and corporations are buying up neighborhoods left and right, to the point to where in a minute, all you're going to have the opportunity to do is rent. But guess what? When you rent, you are controlled. Because when they want to go up on your rent, then what? If they want to push you out and sell the building, then what? So again, you have no equity, no ownership rights. Me personally, I don't have kids. And I say this to my clients with kids all the time. When somebody come and file taxes with me, I ask them, if you a renter, do you plan on owning? Are you planning on buying a house? Are you planning on buying a building? Why haven't you thought about that? I'm a different type of tax and business strategist. I'm just not going to come and file your taxes. Now, we're going to talk some real financial literacy and education around here, around me. If you in my space, in my circle, because we building. We're not staying stagnant. Renting doesn't make sense, especially if you all have kids. Especially if you have kids, especially if you're looking at and paying attention to the last 10 years and how things have been happening in the United States of America. I shared that with y'all on the last live. Even if you went and bought you a plot of land in the city of Chicago, you could get land for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. You can get a whole lot. You can get a whole lot and own it. You may got to pay a little taxes on it annually, but you can go and buy a whole lot for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 and own it. God forbid you lose your job. Guess what? You can go pull up on that car. You can go pull a car up on that lot and sleep in your car on your land that you own. You can get a tiny home. You can get a mobile home. You can put a little trailer, but you own that land. You got to start thinking like that. Especially those of y'all with kids. Now y'all see how the government been playing in your face with some of y'all that's waiting on SNAP benefits and things like that. You got to pay attention to what's happening. You have to create a game plan. You have to create an action plan. You have to start thinking. Okay? Now back to it. Some of the non-traditional ways to ownership is just the example that I said. I took over my family's house. The mortgage had been paid for 25 years. A lot of you all have parents and grandparents who have properties that they own, and maybe they can't afford them right now. You should be stepping up as a family to make sure that that house does not go to the wayside. I see it every single day being in financial services, how many people allow their properties, their grandma house, their family houses to go to the wayside, all because you wouldn't come together as a family and take over the payment to pay the taxes on it. It's ridiculous. It is. It's ridiculous. Equity is real. Property, home ownership is real. I'm not selling my family house. I bought another house on the same block. And I did it the exact same way. Did a quick claim deed process with the family, took over the mortgage payments and put a renter in there. And now somebody is renting that property out. It's other ways to acquire property versus getting a standard mortgage today. Some of y'all may not want to pay $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 for a house. I completely understand that, especially some of these new builds. A lot of them not made worth nothing. But here in the city of Chicago, we have beautiful brick bungalows, 2 flats, 3 flats, gray stones. Like buildings that last, buildings that were built back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Not this new stuff that's just plywood. It's money there. It's money there. Your neighbors, your grandma's neighbors, put some signs in the doors. Ask them, hey, can you afford this place? Can you afford this property? That's how you take and buy the land and the blocks back. It don't always have to be that you got to go and get a brand new mortgage. You can take over mortgage payments, and you could do it the legal way. You could have an attorney involved. You could have documentation drawn up agreements. You could put it in escrow. It's all type of ways that you can do that. But to see people saying $80,000 is not that much money, and some of them was paying $2,500 to $3,200 in rent. Yeah, that's why you think $80,000 is not that much money. You got $3,200 going to rent. So I'm big on having financial literacy and financial education topics on my page and my channel. I know many of you are new here from video and content, but this is really what I talk about: taxes, business, credit, and real estate, especially since I've become a real estate investor these last 5 years. And my LLC owns my properties. I don't own my properties. I created a property management company, and my LLC owns my properties. That's a whole nother other topic of discussion, because there's tax benefits to doing that. There's tax benefits to having LLCs. There's tax benefits to having businesses. It's tax benefits. That's why I'm a tax and business strategist. I've been in the tax industry for over 23 years. I know the tax laws. I work the system legally. Legally. Let's put that in there. Legally. I work the system legally. Because you're not winning in personal individual taxes. If you're getting a tax refund, you're just getting the money back that you paid into the government that you shouldn't have paid. That's all a tax refund is. It means they overcharged you on the taxes on your payroll check. That's what that means. Anybody that receives a tax refund, that's what that means. Or you all got kids and you under and you getting earned income credit, but you still, all right, that's it. Because people with no kids, we don't see no tax refund. You probably break even if you don't have no kids. And if you make over $30,000, you don't see earned income credit. They say earned income credit goes up to $48,000, but it really go away after $30,000. People that making $30,000, $35,000, y'all not seeing no real earned income credit. Earned income credit really is for people who are at a poverty level. People who make less than $22,000, $15,000 to $18,000 to $22,000. They're the ones that see those $5,000 and $6,000 refund checks. That's what that's for. Okay. So if you're making over $40,000, get out of the earned income credit mindset and let's refocus your mindset in learning about ownership, investing, getting you some property, getting you some land, starting a business. YouTube, I see some stuff on here, so I'm going to scroll up before y'all get too far down and I can't see some of your comments. So, Chico, I already answered your question. Chico's question was, if I have an LLC, could my business pay for the land? And I said yes. Chico wants to buy land in Arizona. So yes, your LLC can pay for the land. And that's actually a better way to buy the land through and under your LLC. You'll get a way better and bigger tax write-off if you did it that way, Chico. Hey, Pisces Hayes. What's up, YouTube family? See my main family members on here. Chad. Pisces say corporations definitely shouldn't be allowed to buy whole blocks. They want to buy it up, then rent it back to the citizens. Exactly. And the fact that your government allows it is ridiculous. And when we say government, we're talking about both sides, because everybody gets to love to talk about red and blue on here, like red and blue on here not working together, not like they don't have to work together to make certain laws and things happen. So that's your government that has allowed that. And BlackRock is one of the largest corporations that owns cities. For real. Real crazy. What's your take on, Donald asks, what's your take on reverse mortgages? Donald, I personally don't like reverse mortgages because they don't explain them well. A lot of these reverse mortgages don't explain them well, which is basically, if you decide to do a reverse mortgage, your grandmama gets a reverse mortgage, right? And let's say they say, oh, we'll give you, $1,000 a month. Now remember, reverse mortgages, the property is paid off already. So they're making a payment to your grandmother, right? Let's just say it's $1,000 or $1,500. Let's just say 1,000 to keep the numbers fine. If your grandmother passes away within that year, she only got $12,000. Guess who owns the property? The bank, not the family. The family won't get the property. The bank gets the property. That's what a lot of people don't understand with reverse mortgages. You're basically writing off your property just to get a little bit of money. And that don't even make no sense. $1,000 a month. Family members could come together and pay grandma $1,000 a month. So I don't like reverse mortgages. I don't like them at all. Now, for some people who don't have a family, now if you don't have any kids and you own your property and you don't feel like you want to leave it to nobody, then cool. Reverse mortgages may work for you. But 99% of the grandmamas that I saw doing reverse mortgages when I worked in the banking industry, no, they got played. And they really didn't know the full concept of it. They weren't explaining a lot of stuff clearly when they do those reverse mortgages. So I'm not a fan of reverse mortgages at all. K-Mac says, good evening. You can also purchase a property with equity already in it. Exactly. K-Mac, that's the example that I used. Interesting. Oftentimes people can actually have a high net worth based on equity in the property. Exactly, Terrence. This is another thing. Most of the 10%, guess what? They own real estate. All of the wealthy people in the United States of America and who don't live in the United States of America. You have a lot of foreigners that have bought property in the USA just because they understand the value of the equity. Their money grows, their money increases. Like equity is real. Compound interest is real. Things that really help you, we don't talk about that as a whole. Like you aren't really taught that. You weren't taught that in school. You weren't taught equity and home ownership and buying houses and buying land. I learned about Finance 101 when I went to college. Now, I did go to Jones Commercial, which was a business school. So we did have finance class, but a lot of schools didn't. My school was a business school. We had to have a job to graduate, which was unheard of. There was no other school like Jones Commercial back then. That's why I left public school and went to Jones Commercial, right? I was a hustler. I was like, oh, I can make money at 15. I got to legally have a job to graduate. Sign me up, right? So, but the average person is not learning that in the American school system. The American school system is trash because it teaches you nothing. It teaches you none of this. All of this you learn from the School of Hard Knocks. All of this you learn on your own. Until you get somebody like me who come on the internet and sit on here at 8:00 at night with a glass of wine and talk to you a little bit. Hello. Pisces, okay, you answered it. I was waiting a long time, Pisces, so you must have came and answered it like right after I said the 195. Because people don't want the responsibility. And honestly, I've heard people say that they don't want the responsibility of home ownership. But so when you don't want the responsibility, what's the other effect of that? That means somebody will always control you. So you either want the responsibility or you always want to be controlled, because rent will always go up. Your landlord can always do what they want to do. Your landlord can always make the decision to say, I want you to move, or I'm selling the property, or I'm going up on your rent. You have no control with rent. So the people that's willing to put their future in somebody else's hand because you don't want no responsibilities, then now you get to see in today's world in 2025 what wants and no responsibilities look like. Because a lot of people rent have gone up. A lot of people rent is going to continue to go up. So not wanting a responsibility, okay. Let's hope and pray you and your kids don't never have to deal with that, right? But again, my mindset is different than a lot of other people's mindset. I personally always wanted a place that I own, that I can go to, that me and my mother, I don't have kids, but I do have a mother that I've provided for and taken care of the last 22 years. So in my mind, I want to make sure that me and her always have a place that I own, that I can't be controlled with. You get what I'm saying? So that's my mentality. That's my mentality. I've realized that a lot of people don't think like that. Pisces say, so they'd rather rent. Been trying to help my niece with first time home buyers program in Texas, but she don't listen. Yeah. Send her this live. Sometimes they need to hear it from somebody else. They don't hear it clearly from the people in their lives. Most of the people that I work with is not family and friends. Most of the people whose lives I've helped change are complete strangers on the internet that have become clients. Some clients turned into friends over time. But my immediate family, I don't do nothing with them. I think I do my uncle, one of my uncle taxes and one of my other cousin taxes. That's it. I have a huge family. Huge. So most people who are close to you don't listen to you. And it is what it is, right? Go ahead and get another niece, Pisces Hayes, because you can't help everybody. A lot of people refuse to buy because of the responsibility that comes with it. But again, Donna, what's the responsibility? What's the responsibility? Because I love when people keep saying that. But what's the responsibility? What's some of the responsibilities? I'm gonna say that. What's some of the responsibilities that people don't want to deal with? Because we just keep saying that blatant term. But again, I like to get more heavy into logistics, right? Let's talk dollars and cents. Okay. Because everybody love to say that. I don't want to deal with the responsibility. Okay. So what are those responsibilities? Let's talk heavy. Not going to keep begging her, love her dearly, but can't keep wasting time. Yeah, exactly, Pisces. You got to move on. I love my God baby. My God baby listens to everything. She gonna stay at home with her mama. She just made 21. She's saving up every dollar and she gonna buy a building. She don't need a house. That's one of the things that if I did regret anything was buying a house. I didn't need a house. I could have bought a building. So now when I talk to younger generations, I tell them that buy you a building. You don't need a house. You don't need a condo. Get you a 3 flat. Now you live in one and the other 2 you rent out and you make an income every single month. That's it. Somebody else pay for the mortgage and you live free and clear. Your mortgage money is going to her S&P 500 account. She listened to me. I told her in February, she did my hair in February. And in a week later, she opened up an S&P 500 account with Fidelity and put $500 into it. And she got to see how much her money grew in 45 days. So now she's putting every dollar she can into that S&P 500 account. That's the whole point. So some of them you can talk to, some of them you can't. I got 3 God kids. So that one actually listens. But she's a Gemini like me and she's an entrepreneur. So that's a different story. Waiting to get the farmland to build our first home. Hopefully Pops come through with his VA benefits. Oh, no, you straight. Ain't no hopefully. As long as Pops going to sign on the paperwork. That's the other thing. Veterans, any of you all that's a veteran, if you got a grandfather, a father that's a veteran, they should be getting a mortgage for you. They should be buying a building for you all right now. If any of you all have a veteran in your family and they don't own anything, go ahead and let them sign up and get a whole veteran mortgage free and clear. Veterans get 100% financing, no money down, and do not buy a house. Buy a building. This way, if anything happens to your veteran grandfather, you can still keep the property. It can still maintain in the family. And now this way you have income coming in. You don't need a house. We got to stop thinking with a house, a single family house, a single family house. That's the lie that they told y'all was the American dream, was to buy you a house and a car. No, that's not the American dream. The real way is to buy you a building, buy you a 3-flat. I want to say you can get 1 to 4 units with that HUD approval. 1 to 4 units, but most people do 3 flats, maybe 2 flats, but ain't no point in getting no 2 flat when you can get a 3 flat. Unless it's going to be a 2 flat with a basement. Chicago, we got basements. So you can get a 2 flat with a basement and turn that into an apartment. There you go. Now you got three units. But if you got a 3 unit and a basement, baby, you winning. And that's how a lot of our buildings in Chicago are. Most of our 3 unit buildings got 3 flat. Got a basement, especially if they older. Now these newer construction properties don't have basements. They're putting them on a concrete slab and building straight up. But if you find a 3 unit, which is a lot of them in Chicago, most of them have a basement. People be renting the basement out, create another source of income, put a laundry room down there, charging $1 to $2 so people don't have to go outside in the wintertime. That's additional income. You know how many people use the laundry? You know how much money you'll make off that laundry machine in the basement? This is how people who think financially savvy, people who are financially savvy, this is how we think. People who look at the future, this is how we think. People who want to spend their money wisely, this is how we think. We don't have a bunch of excuses. We don't have nobody saying, we're not saying the man holding me down, none of that. There's no such thing in 2025. There's no such thing in 2025. Yeah, it's the same process as a house. Same process. Same home buying process. I'm seeing all these new people pop their bottles at the closing table buying a $300,000-$400,000 house. No, ma'am. You could have got a $300,000-$400,000 building. And that's what? The building will pay for the house that you want. So when I hear people say, I don't want to do this, or I don't want to have this responsibility, or I don't want to be a landlord, it's not always about what you want to do. Okay? Again, especially for those of you all who have kids, I'm really talking to you. It's not about what you want to do. It's about what makes the most sense. It's about how do I leave my children something? How do I actually create generational wealth? Because we talk about generational wealth like it's just some term thrown around. But how many of you are actually thinking generational wealth? How many of you are actually strategizing and planning and actually doing generational wealth? Because it's talked about a lot, but I'm not seeing many of y'all doing it. Because the reality is, again, I've been in financial services the last 23 years. The reality is a lot of y'all buy those houses, and when you pass away, them kids sell your house off. They sell it. They get the insurance money, and they gone. Blow through the money. 100,000, 200,000, gone in less than a year. So if you doing something or setting something up for these kids, do it the right way. Have a trust set up. It's what we call control from the grave. That one document, that one piece of paper, that couple of pieces of paper saves your whole generational wealth. Because again, if y'all are not sitting down as a family, if you're not having these conversations as a family, if you've never sat down and asked your kid, if something happened to me, what would you do with my house? I challenge you to go do that. Because a lot of y'all be thinking these kids just gonna do it and keep your stuff, and y'all are really mistaken. Because I've seen it every single day. Every single day in this industry that I'm in. hundreds of millions of dollars lost. All because y'all don't have a document like a trust set up. All because all you have is a will. A will is null and void when you die. I want you to know that. And if you have multiple kids and siblings, a lot of them will fight over the money after you die, baby. They will contest that will. You let one kid say, you say, I want one kid to do it. And the other 3 kids is mad. And they're going to contest that will and say, well, mama wasn't in her right mind when she did it. And now y'all end up in probate court. And now probate can take years because all they're doing is draining the account with the fees, the judges, the lawyers, the filing, court costs, all of that draining. I've seen people go from having $1 million policy to walking away with maybe $30,000 each at the end because it all got drained in probate court for years. Probate court is not usually short term, especially if you're dealing with Crook County in the city of Chicago. So something simple like trust planning, estate planning, holds that property, keeps that generational wealth. Okay. So I want more of you to think bigger. If you are renting, understand why you're renting and not just, I don't want to do something all the time. Because again, life is not necessarily about what you want to do. Sacrifices are always made. And the people who actually sacrifice, we see results. Those of you all who are not ever willing to sacrifice because you don't want to do something, we also going to see where you end up at. Because if you're not paying attention to what's going on, and again, how these corporations are buying up houses left and right, you'll see. You'll see. And I don't want to call myself a psychic or something, but baby, I sure said in 2001, the government is going to shut down at some point and not pay y'all rent and y'all Section 8 and y'all link and SNAP benefits. And in 2025, wow, what are we dealing with? Let me rephrase that. I'm not dealing with that. What are you dealing with? What are you dealing with? So you have to pay attention to things and you have to look at things and see in your head what's going on in front of you. And you have to make an action plan and a game plan for it. You get what I'm saying? You can't just wait for stuff to happen. And then when it get here, you don't know what to do. I'm scrolling down YouTube. Jerome says, Patrice, I have 500K in equity from a passed down house. What's your recommendation in pulling out 100K to buy more? A home equity line of credit. It's that simple. Home equity line of credit. You can do a loan or a line of credit. I prefer the line of credit because the line of credit is just like a credit card. You use it as you need it, right? With a loan, you're going to pay an automatic flat dollar amount, right? So if you're pulling out 100K, your payment could be $700 a month. But if you're not using that 100K right now, why are you paying a fixed $700 a month rate? You get what I'm saying? So I always like the home equity line of credit option. That's the best option to me, the line of credit option. The line of credit interest rate usually goes with what prime rate is. So they said Feds just cut the rates. Excuse me. So home equity line of credit rates, I don't know what they are right now. I haven't looked up anything on the bank. But home equity line of credit. And when you do a home equity line of credit, it's tax-free. So that's exactly what I am doing with my family property. I'm pulling out the equity. I'm pulling about $100,000 of equity out and I'm buying another property. And that's exactly how I'll be doing it, through a home equity line of credit. And guess what? Even though my LLC owns my company, I can get a home equity line of credit using my LLC. I don't have to use my personal name. So this will be a business expense and deduction as well, right? That's the whole point of me having my properties under an LLC. I don't do nothing under Patrice Stewart. My companies own it. So if you didn't know, you can still have a company and you can get a home equity line of credit through your LLC, right? Especially if you could show proof that you're paying the mortgage, if you could show proof that you own the property, with, like I said, a quick claim deed or something like that. In your case, it was left to you. So I'm sure you have paperwork and documentation to show proof that you now own the property that you inherited, right? So Jerome, great. I'm ecstatic to see that you have a property worth $500,000 in equity, and I'm ecstatic that you're thinking about pulling $100,000 out to buy more. Because honestly, that's what smart people do. You use the property, get some equity, pull it out, and you buy more property. And that property going to increase as well. And then you're going to get some equity in that property, and you could pull it out and buy some more property. You get what I'm saying? That's monopoly. That's what the wealthy do. The top 10% all have real estate in their portfolio. Every single one. Real estate is one of the easiest ways to wealth, besides you having a life insurance policy. So that's damn near they damn near on the same playing field. But if you're not ready for real estate, life insurance policy alone could be a wealth. $30 a month, $50 a month, maybe less than that if you start early. That builds wealth as well. So I'll say life insurance policy first and then real estate. But those are the top two, that the top 10% in this country. That's how they do. Real estate, life insurance, businesses. They definitely have businesses and take advantage of the tax code and the tax system. So congratulations, Jerome. That's what's up. I love that. Same, me too. I have my own property management company and my own home in an LLC also. Jerome, you winning, man. You winning, man. You are winning. Do y'all see Jerome on here? Y'all better take some notes, baby. What's up, Rashawn? Thanks for the answer. They don't want you to learn this. Exactly. They don't want you to learn this. They don't want you to learn this. This is why I get so much flack on the internet. This is why I get so much flack on the internet, baby. They don't want you to learn this. And this is why I don't have any licenses in anything. This is why I'm not an enrolled agent. I never wanted to be a CPA, but I did at one point in time, was thinking about getting my enrolled agent license. But this is why I don't have a license, because when you have a license, you're limited to what you could say online. You're limited to what you could teach. So this is exactly why I never got licensed in anything. Why I do everything my way, my grassroots way, my independent way, as I like to say. Independent brand, independent company, independent ownership. Nowadays, if you're near a hospital and do good background checks, you can rent rooms to cash flow more on a single family home too. Correct, Jerome. I like that. I actually didn't really think about the hospital way, but a lot of people are renting to veterans. People are also renting to people who come out of halfway houses, because you can also set up a halfway house if you got a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom. These men and women need a place to stay when they come out of prison. So halfway houses are another way, because again, the government pays for it. So anytime you can get the government to pay the rent, that's a very good program. You know, everybody don't want to rent out to Section 8 people just because of sometimes the bad rep that Section 8 has gotten. But there are a lot of other opportunities to rent. Okay. And like you said, by the room. So if you do have a single family house, think about that. Same way with these kids and the youth. Some of these kids have, if they're a foster kid, a lot of them are wards of the state. So they have their expenses paid too. So they have a certain amount of income that they get once they turn 18 as foster kids, and they can rent. You can rent out properties, rooms to them as well. K-Max says you can purchase some property in a gated community with the HOA and you won't have the responsibility. I don't really like the whole HOA thing personally. You know, that's true. But a lot of HOAs too, K-Mac, don't like you to rent. So I know in Illinois, every state and county is different, but I know a lot of HOAs in the suburbs of Chicago, they don't like you to rent out. They actually have that clause in their HOA. And then I'm just not with nobody telling me what I can and can't do on my damn lawn. I done bought this $500,000 house, and you telling me I can't park here, I can't have parties. Well, I don't party, but it's a lot of limitations sometimes with them HOAs. So I personally like independent property, but that could be another way too. But be careful with them HOAs because they do have fees and they do have a lot of rules. So you want to make sure that you're reading the rules before you do that. Patrick say, yo, Patrice in the house. What's up, Patrick? I have to rewind this for the info for sure. From what I hear, upkeep, taxes, repair, unforeseen damages. Okay, Donald, you answering my question with what is some of the things that people say that they don't want to deal with when owning property. And that's and Donald, I have heard those things. I just wanted you to actually say them. So thank you for typing that out. Upkeep, taxes, repairs, unforeseen damages. All of this is possible and could be true. Yes, you're going to pay taxes on the property. Yes, if you have a house 20, 30, 40 years, you're going to have to do some repairs to it. Yes, you are. Right? And you may have some unforeseen damages. This is why a lot of us pay for insurance on the properties, right? So most of the time, your insurance can pay for those unforeseen damages, and some people don't have the money to pay the deductible. And again, this comes back to what I'm saying. As Americans, we have to have a conversation around financial literacy. Because if you had a compound interest bearing account where you were putting $100 to $200 in it a month, you will have some money for emergencies. You will have some money for unforeseen. If you have credit cards, your credit cards can pay for some of those unforeseen expenses, right? This is why it's important to have your credit in order. This is why it's important to apply for credit when you don't need it. That's the best time to apply for credit, when you good, when you don't need the money. That's the thing. Most people apply for loans when they desperately need it, and that's the worst time to apply. So that's why I like Jerome saying he's going to go ahead and get that $100,000, maybe $200,000 in equity out, Jerome, now, right? While you can, while it's a game plan, while the money is open and available for you to get. So credit cards and credit isn't for you to go shopping. It's not for you to be doing vacations. Credit cards really are a form of an emergency fund. And you have some people that have hundreds of thousands of dollars in credit. It's because they're not using it, right? It's because they're not using it. So the banks will give you all the money in the world when they see you got a $10,000 card that's got a $200 balance on it. They could see, okay, you're not in need of the money. So they're going to keep giving you credit cards. They're going to keep giving you money. But if we don't have these type of conversations regarding finances, taxes, credit, business, the average American is not winning. The average American is in debt because you weren't taught the right way to use the money, right? And even for me, when I first got my credit card in college, because in college they used to come on our college dorm, on our college campuses, and Discover, Visa, they would be on college campus giving you a trinket. You want to apply for this credit card? We got a balloon, or we got a bag for you today, or we giving this free gift away. That's how they reeled a lot of us in. And my first credit card was $2,000. I didn't have no damn job. I was at college. I was a college student. And what did I do? Go with me and my friends, and we drove to the outlet mall and went shopping. That was the dumbest thing in the world for me to do. Right? The dumbest thing in the world, to get the credit card and to go shopping. But I was 18, right? I don't think my dad had got to that point with me yet with the credit card conversation. He didn't know that they was on college campus pushing and promoting for us to have credit cards. That was all the system and the setup as well, right? That's a whole nother other thing. But this is why I have these conversations now, so that somebody under me that's younger than me does not do that, right? Does not do that. So, yes, those are things that come with the property. But again, if we start talking about financial literacy and high yield savings accounts and compound interest and how you use and spend your money, you'll have the money for those things. You'll have the money to pay the taxes. You'll have the money to pay the upkeep. Lawn care, you can go buy you a lawnmower and do your own lawn care. Just most of us don't want to do it. So we pay a lawn care man. I pay a lawn care man to do my grass. My neighbors, they get out there. Her husband gets out there and he cuts their grass, right? So it's all depending on what you want to do with the upkeep. Some people do their own upkeep. Now you saving their money. Some people do their own repairs, especially if they minor. If you got to paint a room, you can go to Home Depot and and buy your own paint and paint your room. But a lot of us, you want somebody else to do it. So that's an expense. So a lot of homeowners, when you become a homeowner, you learn to start doing a lot. You go to some of them Home Depot classes and you start taking them workshops and them classes to learn how to do some of the stuff on your own. All right. Unless you got a decent contractor like I got a black contractor that's decent on the prices. He ain't busting you over the head with it. I had an unforeseen leak in my roof. And my contractor had to come and fix my ceiling and paint the ceiling. And I had to get a roofer to come over and fix the roof. And, that was an unforeseen expense. But it got taken care of. Because I had a reserve. Because I planned for having an unforeseen expense, right? I also have credit cards that I'm not using on a regular daily basis. So when stuff like that happens, you have the funds available. So again, that's part of the mindset for people that say, I don't want to deal with the upkeep. I don't want to deal with the taxes. I don't want to deal with the repair. But again, that's something that you are going towards ownership. I know some people that's renting and repairing their own rent, they're repairing their own stuff when they renting because the landlord ain't doing it. So it could, repairs and unforeseen damages could go both ways. Every landlord not upkeeping their property. So it's all within your mindset. If you buy Instagram, my battery is about to die on my phone. So y'all can transition over to my YouTube channel. I'm Patrice L. Stewart on my YouTube channel because my phone is about to die. So y'all can transition over there. YouTube is where it's at anyway. It's the most interactive. It's the best platform. I probably will not be going live on Instagram and Facebook after this month. Yeah. So I'm on YouTube. If you buy in decent, okay, hold on. Let me scroll back up. Jerome say, if you buy in a decent condition, you wouldn't have to deal with too much major issues. Exactly. In a home. If you buy it in bad conditions, then you got issues. Exactly, Jerome. Exactly. Patrick say, my family is trash. Some of the most conniving, backstabbing, sick people ever. Hey, Patrick, I understand. You can't do business with everybody. Right? Ownership is leadership. Let's go, X. If you buy a multi, you can write off the taxes. If you buy a multi, and that's it. Like if you buy a multi-unit, you are then sometimes considered, depending on how you are doing it. If you living in the property, then you are only 50% an investor, right? But if you buy a multi-unit and you're not living in it, you are an investor. So investors have different tax write-offs than personal individuals. So when you're an investor, which is why my properties are under an LLC, not me, because I'm an investor, right? So you get to write off more than just the taxes when you're an investor. 1 out of 3 godchildren listening in is a great accomplishment. Hey, I think so too. The most important is screening the tenants to find the best candidates. West Side has a lot of 3 flats with basements. It makes no sense for every generation to build from scratch. That's the real curse. Exactly, X. Exactly. That's the real curse. It makes no sense for every single generation to have to build from scratch. It makes no sense.
When we you the what? Favorite child. You who's
I feel sorry for some people when they say, like I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and she said her grandmother told her outright she did not want her to have a property. It was like she basically was telling her, you got to get it out the mud. And I was like, damn, that's a whack slave mentality mindset, grandma. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how? And my friend is smart. Like, she's someone who would keep the property, would do something with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people you got in your family, you like, yeah, they gonna just jack this off, right? But some people in your family, you may have, you know what I'm saying? For her, I just was really shocked for her to tell me that's what her grandmother said to her. And I'm like, damn. But I've heard that before from other people. I've heard that mentality. And to me, that's a real whack ass mentality to have. You know, real whack ass mentality to have. So me and my family member not talking. We don't talk as much. I won't say we can't talk, but we don't talk much anymore just because of the of how they handle some things with the property and, you know, what was going on. But I do respect that they did give me the property, because they could have sold it to somebody and got a couple of dollars for it. But I do respect that they did give me the property at least. So I had to put some money in it and take over things. But I do respect that they gave me the property, because some people don't. You know, some people don't give access to the family for the property, which, like I said, is kind of messed up. That's that Willie Earl, that Willie Lynch mentality and mindset. Grandma got to come up off that plantation, baby, because that's a real slave master mindset there that she had. But it is what it is. So my friend straight, she working on multiple properties right now, so she's straight. But she definitely tried to get her grandmama house. Absolutely. Live in one, rent the other, escrow the extra cash for unforeseen repairs, write off expenses, grow equity, pull it 50K in 5 years, buy another one with a DSCR loan, rent both out. You can make it. Exactly. It's what everything Jerome is on here saying. I hope some of y'all taking notes, because it's the wholehearted truth. It's the wholehearted truth. The most important thing, okay, you said that. Control from the grave. That's deep. That's deep as 6 feet. Grace saying, yeah, that's my little saying that I like to say, control from the grave. And it's ridiculous. I'm glad, Jerome, your family member was smart and left you that property with equity of $500,000 in it. That's what I'm saying. All because you had a family member that allowed you to inherit that property. You woke up one morning and you had 500 bands in wealth. Like, you can't make this up. You get what I'm saying? You literally woke up when that person passed away who decided to leave you that, and you woke up the next damn morning with 500 bands in equity. That's a beautiful thing, baby. You are telling the truth, my sister. Going to the grocery store this week. They're not packed. Yeah, I noticed the grocery stores ain't packed. I went to the grocery store yesterday. It was unbelievable on the 2nd. This is the 2nd. We talking about it today, November 3rd. I went to the grocery store yesterday. I ain't never seen Jules like that a day in my life. I usually don't even go to the store the first week of the first. You won't even catch me in the grocery store the first week of the first. But yeah, yesterday I ended up making my mom and I a vegetable lasagna. So I had to go to the store. And the store, I have never seen Jules like that. Never. So I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is really crazy. Home equity credit is tax-free. Wow, did not know that. Yes, Patrick, home equity line of credit, not home equity credit. Home equity line of credit is tax-free. Even if you do a loan, that's you don't pay taxes on that money. You don't pay taxes on that loan. You don't pay taxes on the loan, because a loan you got to pay back. You borrowing the money. So yes, whenever you do a home equity line of credit or a home equity loan, it's tax-free. So you're pulling the money out of the property, but you're not paying taxes on that. Now, if you was to sell the property, right, then that's when capital gains gonna come in and all that other stuff. Unless you have a tax and business strategist like myself, and we got certain things set up, and you got a trust set up, and it's structured another way. You're not gonna pay the same type of capital gains that you would regularly pay either. So this is why it's important as to once you start building and once you start buying property and getting into investments, and as your money start growing, it's very important for you to get in front of someone like myself, a tax and business strategist, somebody that's an expert in the tax industry, that knows the tax laws and how to legally maneuver, right? It's a difference between tax evasion, and then it's a difference between tax planning. Two totally different things. Okay. So when you plan it out and you structure things properly, that's not evasion. All right. Wesley Snipes went to jail because he did tax evasion. He didn't have somebody who was structuring his stuff out. Same way with Jermaine Dupri 20 years ago when the IRS came and started pulling stuff up out his crib. They didn't have nobody in their life, obviously, that was teaching them the real game. That's it. When you see people going to jail with the IRS, it's because they were evading taxes. Big difference than tax planning, tax structure, tax strategy. Okay. So don't do what those two did, and you won't end up in jail. You said, wow, to K-Mac. He must have said something. You are telling the truth. Oh, he said, wow to that. So, right. Just like vehicles, you can tax write off under a business. Exactly. I mean, write off. Life insurance policies are a great investment. As little as $5 a month for that. I don't know nobody in their 40s paying $5 a month, Patrick. Now, the earlier you start and you put them kids on as teenagers, maybe $5 a month. But I don't know no grown person paying $5 a month. What type of policy you got? Look. That's why I said $20, $30, $40. You know, it may not even be that much, but the earlier you start, then the lower the cost is for life insurance. Patrick say Jerome in the house. Jerome in the house. Patrick, you are hilarious. Shopping with a credit card. Never have I ever. Hey man, I definitely did it. I definitely did it at 18. I learned my lesson early. Hey, James. You say you late to the conversation. So we're talking about a couple of things, but the conversation started off as why someone will rent versus own. And more sharing the experiences of the value of home ownership versus somebody that's just renting, right? And then again, paying attention. So paying attention to what's going on, paying attention to the economy, paying attention to all of that. Patrick said, I need your mentorship for what I've been interested in. Under employers, you can get a $5 a month policy. Okay. Now, we always say, I don't like you all to only have life insurance through your job because, again, if the job ever decides to let you go, then the life insurance goes away with it. I have come across too many seniors that are in their 60s that have lost their job. So they lost the life insurance policy and they lose the 401k, right? So the 401k, whatever they put into it, you will be able to take that with you. But if that's all you had, right? If you didn't have your own retirement account or plan outside of the job, a lot of people have lost it, right? And then if they're not putting, and then some people don't put into their 401k, or maybe was putting into it for a little while and then stop putting into it, right? But the thing is every employer, once you are gone, once they let you go, all of those benefits go away. Right. So you just never want to be I think American society is too dependent on their employers. And I'm going to say that. American society is too dependent on your employer, your job. A lot of people are living check to check. And if they lose that job, that's exactly how we have some people who end up on benefits, right? SNAP and other things that they need because you cannot survive. Or you have not created a game plan financially to where you can still survive if you lost your job, right? And so it doesn't always take a lot. Like I say, if you have any type of if you have any type of luxuries, right? Multiple bags, multiple shoes, multiple clothes. You know what I mean? Like a closet full of clothes. You know what I'm saying? You taking trips, you getting your hair, your nails done, you getting, haircuts. All of those are luxuries. It is. It's a luxury. All right. Your necessity is your home, food, what we say, food, dwelling, and something else. I can't think right now. My mind just went blank. Those are your necessities. All right, but in America, you get real caught up in the extra things, the tablets, the multiple cell phones, the iPhone, the $1,000 iPhone, right? That a lot of people are paying monthly payments on. So you have to look at it. If you're buying out to eat, you're going out to eat a couple of times a week. You like your Starbucks or your Dunkin' Donuts. What can you cut back? What can you sacrifice not doing? Maybe you don't need to go to Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks every day before you go to work and get that coffee and a donut. Maybe it makes more sense for you to go to the grocery store and buy your coffee, buy a coffee machine and make your coffee in the morning and have your donut at home, right? Or maybe it just makes sense for you to sacrifice and not have your coffee and a donut because you may need to save up that $5 to $10 every day, and that needs to go into your life insurance policy, or that needs to go into your compound interest bearing account, your S&P 500 account. So now that way, when something happens, you have a rainy day fund. I've shared that with y'all. Less than 21% of Americans have $1,000 in their savings account. Less than 21% of Americans have $1,000 in a savings account. Right? Got to start thinking differently. Got to start thinking differently, especially if you are not paying attention to what is going on and how things are happening in this country today. Ronald Isley of the Isley brothers went to jail for tax evasion as well. See? This is why my non-for-profit focuses on the male youth in sports and entertainment, because they get played. Ain't no way that none of them 3 celebrities should have been in any type of issues with the IRS. Not near none. It's no reason. Okay? It's no reason. So a lot of people don't understand that. People think just because people are celebrities that they know what they're doing. And a lot of them get played as well. Let's be clear. A lot of them get played in the financial industry as well. Jane, okay, Patrick is responding to James. Wow. He went to, yeah, I didn't know the Isley brother dude went to. You know, he was singing his way out of all his problems. I could not stand Patrick. Patrick, you are hilarious out here. Also try annuities. That could be a great way to build wealth too. I have one with an IRA. I used to have an annuity. I let mine go. I made way more money with my S&P 500 account. But I do like that you still said that, Donald. Annuities are another more safer, product for people, especially if you don't like the stock market. Like me, I don't like the stock market. That's why I invest in crypto and the S&P 500. I like the S&P 500 as a whole. It's the top 500 businesses, tech companies. And then that way you got your money in those, all 500 of those. On average, the S&P 500 has seen like a 15 to 20% return over the last 20 years. They were only in the red twice. And the 2 years that they were in the red was when we had the housing market crash, which was like 08, 09. And then again, I want to say in like 2017 or something like that. Those was the only times the S&P 500 went in the red. Other than that, that sucker is up. So I personally like my money in the S&P 500, and I let that annuity go. Also try annuities, but I do like that you said that, Donald. Annuities could be good for some people. Damn, that's wild. The Isley brother went to. Yeah, he sure was singing over there. He sure was singing. If you are a man, you could keep, K-Max say, if you are a man, you could keep a lot of money in your pocket if you leave the low-hanging fruit alone. Facts, K-Mac. Look, that go for men and women, to be honest, K-Mac. There's a lot of low-hanging fruit, and both men and women can learn from that. Yes, Patrick, crypto is okay. Do not let these people tell you that crypto is not. People don't understand how crypto works, and I'm not going to get on here and get into it because I'm no expert. So I'm going to tell you to do your own research on that. But you have to pay attention. When the big box companies like go on Fidelity, go on Charles Schwab, and guess what they have on their websites now? Crypto. People who don't believe that crypto is real, that it's fake money, all this other stuff, okay. Be kept in the dark and you're not paying attention, because they are going to a cashless society. So if we are going to a cashless society, did y'all know they about to stop making pennies? They're no longer making pennies anymore. They're getting ready to stop making pennies altogether. So if they just started off with pennies, coins is going to be next. More coins are going to be next. Okay. They're about to stop making pennies. So they're stop making pennies. Then they're going to stop making nickels and dimes and quarters. It's always reciprocal. You get what I'm saying? You got to be paying attention. You got to be paying attention. And too many people walking around like this and not opening up their blinders. And then it gets to the point to where when it happened, you don't know what hit you. it'll happen, and you ain't gonna know what's going on. You're like, damn, that just happened. No, it's been happening. You just wasn't paying attention. You wasn't listening to none of Patrice's live that she been saying for the last 10 years. That's it. And unfortunately, a lot of Black people are the last people on the totem pole. Let's be clear. In every race, a lot of Black people are the last people on the totem pole to learn something and know something and find out something. But it be after the fact. After people been known, a lot of people be oblivious. Please don't be one of them people. So yes, Patrick, crypto is real. I would recommend that you look into blockchain. Okay, that's the terminology that runs everything, right? But Bitcoin, Ethereum, and what's the other one? It's three of them. That's the whole blockchain. But you got to understand where we're going, and you got to start investing into something. So I usually look at the top 20 coin. Yeah, the pennies are going obsolete. They will not be making pennies. Right. Always have diversity in your stock portfolio as well as your crypto portfolio. Right. And you can buy something as low as $20 worth of crypto. You know what I mean? That's what I like about crypto. You can buy $20 worth of crypto and see where it's going. And right now, when everything crashed, what was that, a week ago, when all the stuff crashed, the stock market crashed, crypto, I don't want to say crashed, but what do they call it right now? What's some of y'all that's in it? What's the terminology that is for it right now? It's a term that they've been using where what type of market that we're in right now. Yeah, I don't want to say crashed, but when stocks are low and down, you buy them, right? You don't buy them when they high. You buy them now when they low. So like, I think I bought some XRP over a month ago before the stocks went down, and I bought it at like $2.89. It went all the way down to like $2.20, something like that. The other day I logged in, it was like $2.55 for XRP, right? And all the crypto people who do this, who study this on a daily basis, are saying XRP is going to go to $7 to $10, right? So now is the time to buy. You buy it when it's low. You know what I mean? You buy it when it's red. So that way, when it goes back up, you making some money. But I love crypto because crypto has really turned a lot of people into millionaires, like literally in a couple of years. People who bought into Bitcoin early on. I shared with y'all, I had a client that bought Bitcoin when it was at 30,000. And I was like, and I told him, I said, you need to sell that. You need to get up out of that. And I'm so glad he didn't listen to me because I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. I was still just learning crypto. But I saw it go up to 30 bands. I saw it go up to like 27, 28,000. And he bought it before it was that. And I know he got more than one coin. And I had called him earlier this year and I was like, I know you ain't listened to me. And he was like, hell no, I ain't listened to you. Because Bitcoin went up all the way up to like 126,000. It's over the 100,000 mark. So that man is up 80 bands minimum. Because I don't remember. I think he bought it when it was like 15,000 or something like that. Then it went to 30,000. And I just thought it was going to crash out. I was like, oh my God, it's not going to stay at 30,000. You gotta let it go. You got to get up out of there, man. Baby, now knowing what I know about crypto and learning and seeing, and then how that sucker done shot up to over 120,000. Now I think it's down to like one. I don't know. I haven't logged in. I don't log in every day. I don't log in much no more. Because in the beginning, y'all gonna be trying to look at it every single day, and I'm gonna tell you, don't do that. Buy it, let it sit. It's just like the stock, right? You're not looking at your stock every single day. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same way with crypto. But people are becoming millionaires a lot faster with crypto than sitting 30 years in the stock market, in the stock exchange, like our grandparents did, right? Because that's how I was taught. Put all your money in the stock market and then you wait 30 years and then you'll see some money, right? No. Like, people making money. People are doing daily, what is it called when you're doing the day trade? People are day trading crypto. Like, for real, for real. I'm thinking about getting into it and doing it. Because if you got the time to sit there and watch the money buy into it, it literally goes up. It goes up and down all day, just like the stock market. So if you bought in at $2 this morning and it went up to $2.85, bam. You know what I'm saying? Cash that sucker out, and not cash all the way out. Just sell it and then keep the money in your account. And then you can buy more, right? But I know a couple of people that's what they do. They just day trade crypto all day, right? So yeah, Patrick, it's real. It's real. And I'm suggesting that more Black people learn and understand that, because I would hate to see, a lot of Black people still don't do stock, still aren't investing, still aren't putting their money into things that's going to make more money. Right. So I would hate to see a whole nother other generation of Black people lose and not learn and understand crypto. Because literally, that's where it's at. But I got some work to do tonight, so I'm not going to be on here with y'all all night. I've been on here an hour and 36 minutes, so we got about another 20 minutes, and then I'm going to get off. So do y'all got any questions while I'm on here where we talked about property, real estate investing? I've shared with you all tax liens is another way that you can get into owning property pretty cheap. This upcoming month, I will be opening up my tax course, my tax lien course that we do, because in Cook County, our tax lien opens up in March of 2026. So we're going to start teaching and educating people on how to purchase tax liens in Cook County, how you can buy land and property and commercial spaces, all within Cook County. I'm only going to do Cook County this year. I was going to open it up to some other states, but I'm not. So I'm only going to do Cook County for the tax lien. Also try, okay, I saw that one. I heard it's risky. I'm like a pirate. I like precious metals, bullion. Right. Crypto, property, and stock markets are what I've refrained from. Yes, Patrice, you will own nothing and be happy. If you know, you know. Diversify your stock and cryptocurrency. Right. Right. Blacks think in a linear way. Think outside of what you've been conditioned to believe. Exactly. The conditioning is so real in our community. It's damn near sickening at times, because some of the slack and the feedback that I get with the content that I've posted, which exposing our government in Chicago and exposing how the politicians here are trash. Some of the comments that I get from Black people that look like me, y'all, it's like, it's ridiculous. Honestly, if you don't think in a groupthink mindset, if you don't consider yourself a Democrat and voting blue all the time, if you have a free thinkers mindset, if you think independently, if you think logically and independently, that really bothers some people who look like you. And it's actually saddening. It's actually saddening to see in 2025 that real whack, limited mindset of people. But hey, I don't give a shit, because you ain't gonna tell me what the hell to do and speak about on my platform and my channel, period. That's why we telling people, well, if you don't like it, why are you here? Why are you here and why are you commenting? Just move along. Because you're not going to tell me what I could say on my page and my channel. Like, that don't even make sense. like that don't even make no sense, baby. You're going to be big mad every single day. So just go ahead and block me and unfollow me. Because Lord willing, I'm going to keep talking. And that's just what it is. I've heard it's more to make a penny than what it's worth. Bam. Hey, Focus Mind. Bearish. Okay, thank you, y'all. There go the truth, the crypto people over here. I knew y'all would know what I'm talking about. Bearish. It's a bearish market right now. Good time to buy some call options. What's up, Trusting God? Robinhood stock with a question. I buy some stuff on Robinhood, but I don't buy no crypto on Robinhood. I like Coinbase and crypto.com for crypto. I made $5,000 off of $600 investment in contracts. See? Trusting God. So what does that, is that what that means? Some call options. I'm gonna have to look that up. Crypto, type that in my thing right now. Crypto call options. That's that options trading. So one of my homies keep trying to get me into that options trading. That's what that is, options trading. So that's what they say. So you say I made $5,000 off of $600 investment. Stocks are very risky. Great info, Patrice. Yes. So during this shutdown, all real estate programs still available? Did anything change? As far as I know, the real estate programs are still available. Because most of the real estate programs that you're dealing with are by state. HUD is federal, so HUD funds the programs, but that money has already been given to the state. So like the money that your state and government is using right now in 2025, they've already been given that money. The money that we're talking about now is like budgets for 26, 27, 28, you know what I'm saying? Your state already got the money that they were going to spend for 2025. So they already got the federal funding. So my friends that's real estate brokers and lenders, they're still doing and selling houses today. Yeah, that's not stopped. Right. How do you find money for your down payment? So again, trusting God, every lender that you talk to should know the different programs and options that they have available. So every lender is different, right? So depending on what bank or what lender you go to, sometimes there's banks, sometimes there's private companies and lenders, right? But every single one has different programs. Or in Google in your state, I don't know what county you in, but type in your county and say first time home buyer programs. And then you'll start seeing the different listings and options, and then you can kind of read into it to see what's available. Like here in Chicago, it's a lot of programs. So NHS is one. They have like a up to $20,000 down payment assistance program. BMO Bank, they have a $30,000 down assistance payment program, right? Bank of America, CIBC Bank, every major bank has their own down payment assistance program. But then some nonprofit organizations, you can also add those on. So some lenders can stack, right? So like one of my lenders here in Chicago, Joy with G-Rate, Joy can stack programs. So Joy is a mortgage lender herself, but she can also get money from NHS. So G-Rate may have, say, $10,000, but if you can get that money from NHS for $20,000, now you got the $10,000 and the $20,000. Now that's $30,000 towards your down payment. So really, your lender is really important with who you're talking to. Your lender is probably going to be the most important person that you're talking to in this home buying process. And remember, you don't have to buy a home. You can buy a 2-flat, a 3-flat. I want to say it's 1 to 4 units is under the HUD first time home buyer program. But most people at least do 2 to 3 units if they don't, because 4 units are not as popular, right? But you can always find a house. You can always find a 2-flat or a 3-unit usually. So that's what I recommend to people. Get you a multi-unit. So that way you're not paying your mortgage. Somebody else is really paying your mortgage. And remember, you only got to stay in the property a year, y'all. You only got to stay in the property a year. Then you can rent that other apartment out. Right? And now that apartment pays for the house that you want. You get what I'm saying? Or pays for the car that you want, or pays for another property. I would stack and buy another property. If I could do everything over again, I would not buy a single family house. I bought my first house at 28. I would have bought a 3-unit building. I would have took that money and got another 3-unit building. I would have bought me at least 3 units before I even bought my first car or house. I would have had at least 3 investment properties. 369, that's 9 units of income coming in. And your mortgage is only going to be a certain dollar amount. Your taxes should be rolled into the mortgage. You should be PITI. That's what it's called. Payment, interest, taxes, and insurance. This is another reason why some Black people, I can only speak from a Black person. I'm Black. I don't know any other race and culture. So when I'm talking, I can't talk about other races and culture. Okay. But a lot of Black people lose their properties because they do not have that damn tax payment rolled into there. And then when you get the tax bill, you haven't saved the money to afford to pay the tax bill at the end of the year. This is part of the reason why so many people lose their properties, because of them taxes. Okay? Your mortgage can go up because your taxes go up. When I first got my house, my mortgage was only $700. My mortgage went up because my taxes went up. When I let that house go, my mortgage was almost $1,400. That's damn near double. You get what I'm saying? So this is how people lose their houses, because your taxes could go up. And in the suburbs, your taxes are way more than what you pay in the city. And again, knowing what I know now, I would not have bought no house in the suburbs. I would have bought me 3 flats in the city of Chicago, because the taxes within the city of Chicago are cheaper than any surrounding suburb. Any of them. All the suburb taxes high as hell. People in Masson paying 15 bands. People in Orland Park paying 20 bands, 25 bands a year. That's $2,000 a month in taxes. That's not even including a mortgage payment. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at all that. You got to look at the area that you're buying in. The city is cheaper than the suburbs. So don't do that mistake like I did and bought my house in the suburbs first. No, get you somewhere in the city, because the taxes is going to be cheaper, right? But now, knowing what I know, this is why I share with all y'all. Like, no, because I want you to win. I want you to win. Okay, hold on. Y'all done started really talking. Y'all on here talking heavy. Hold on. Yes, so okay, that was the last one I saw. During the government shutdown, has anything changed? And then Trusting God said, how do you find the money? There's a property tax lien course in Oak Park coming in a few days. Yeah, I don't go to those because they gonna give you some stuff, but they just gonna sell you a program at the end of it. Nobody doing free classes for nothing. Everybody gonna sell a course at the end. I already know how to do the property tax lien, so I don't go to those anymore, James. But yeah, they gonna tell you a little bit of information, and then they gonna sell you a course and a package at the end. I've been to them 15 years ago. They're gonna sell you a $5,000 to $10,000 course at the end of it. But a lot of white people go, and a lot of white people have the money and disposable income or credit cards, and they buy it. So that's what it is. Exactly, trusting God, because where we live in the United States of America is a corporation. Period. Period. And until American citizens, especially Black Americans, understand that and get up out their fucking feelings, then that's when things will change. You do not live in a democracy. That's the fake lie that y'all believe every damn day. It's a democracy. It's a democracy. You don't live in no fucking democracy. You live in a corporation. That's where you live. The United States of America in all capital letters. It's like that for a reason, baby. Go do some real history. Go look up your straw man. It's a whole nother other conversation. Go look up your straw man. See how much money your straw man make this United States of America every single day. Okay. Why your banking system is the way that it is. Okay. Go talk heavy. How do you feel about Cash App stocks? I'm not a fan of Cash App stocks. I'm personally not a fan of Cash App stocks. I'm not a fan of Cash App at all, especially for businesses. Cash App is peer-to-peer. I'm not a fan of buying my stocks on Cash App. So I personally don't do it, so I can't talk about it. But Trusting God just said Cash App stocks are no different. But I personally, I'm not buying stocks on Cash App. Okay. I'm going to do crypto. I'm going to do Robinhood. I'm going to do something, E-Trade, something like that. I'm not doing stock transactions on Cash App. That's just my personal preference. I also have a different feeling with Cash App because I'm a business owner, and how so many business owners get played through Cash App. I'm not a fan of Cash App at all as a whole. So my opinion might be a little biased there. Okay. We're not gonna take my opinion, James. Because Cash App let somebody reverse $2,500 on me. So I ain't with Cash App. Do you find credit unions better for mortgages? Yes. Credit unions are better for everything when it comes to checking accounts, savings accounts, loan products, credit cards, right? I just had a client, I just had a call with a guy yesterday that shared with me. He took some of my information on this free internet that I gave y'all about Navy Federal. And when he got in Navy Federal and applied for Navy Federal, they gave him a $15,000 credit card. And his highest credit card on his credit report was, I think, a $5,000 credit card. So he got a $15,000 credit card with Navy Federal. So yes, credit unions give you way more money. They are better for, everyday citizens than regular banking institutions. Big box banks, it take a lot for Chase to give you 15 bands. You got to show some stuff. But you can go walk in the door with a credit union and you can possibly get a $5,000 to $10,000 credit card right out the gate. So yes, I love credit unions. They are the best. I have at least 2. I keep 2 on my roster. And that is a great question, Trusting God. I agree, Patrick. That's why I love y'all on YouTube. This is why I love y'all. Hey, MB Exchange. You're welcome, Trusting God. Credit unions are more community-based. Banks are for-profit. Exactly. But I've had credit unions are harder to get approved. I think it just depends on the members of the union. Yeah, if you do a well-known credit union like a Navy Federal, a Penn Fed, it's hundreds of thousands of credit unions. Just literally type in credit unions near me, and you're gonna see all types come up. Credit unions that you've never even known was down the street from your house. So yeah, credit unions are great. Facts. Corporation. Have you guys seen the flag of the corporation? It's crazy. Federal Reserve is not federal. Hope people would know that too. The same way as the IRS. Internal Revenue Service is not a direct government agency. The Internal Revenue Service is a collection agency that the government has hired. The IRS is not a federal government agency directly. It's like a collection company that collects. If you default and that collector gets to calling you, that collection company is not Macy's, right? It's not the card that you owe directly. It's a company that Macy's hired to collect the debt. That's what the IRS is. The IRS is not a direct federal agency on its own. A lot of people don't know that. It's literally a collection agency. I need to holler at you then about that tax lien works. James, what state you in? You in Chicago? I mean, you within Cook County? Because my course is gonna be only for people in Cook County. I share with y'all this tax lien stuff. I think you just said that. You said it's in Oak Brook. You in Cook County, yeah. I'll by next week I'll probably start promoting the course for Cook County. So if you want, you can text me tax lien, and then I'll know to respond to your text when I set the link and stuff up. But we in a private Zoom, and I'll get on my computer and I'll show y'all exactly what to do and how to do it, how to look up the properties, how to research them, how to look up the taxes on them and back taxes. Because unfortunately, all we have right now is the annual sale. We as a county, we need to go up against Preckwinkle, and we need to go down to the county meetings and let Preckwinkle know as a whole that we are ready for them to host a scavenger sale. They have not held a scavenger sale in like 4 years. And technically they put this damn law in that says that they can hold it at their discretion, which is some bullshit. Really, as residents, we're supposed to be able to have access to that scavenger sale. So the scavenger sale, we would not have to pay the back taxes. We would just have to pay whatever tax year that is delinquent, and then the prior tax years would get wiped away. So the annual sale, we do still have to pay the back taxes. So it's a lot more research and stuff going on with that, because you need to go and you want to make sure that you're not looking at a property and then they got 20 years worth of back taxes that you're going to be expected to pay. Right. So, yeah. I've been talking about that. That might be something that I need to work on though, because we really do need to petition, and we need to go down there and get in front of her, in her face, and fill the room up to let them know that we want the scavenger sale. Because that's really some bullshit. They let all these white companies and these white people, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna tell it like it is. They let all these white people come into Cook County and get all these lots and properties in our neighborhoods. That's why you see so many abandoned lots and buildings in the Black community. They had the lady that they had on TV all year, the white lady that owned 800 lots and property in Inglewood and South Shore and Woodline that all ran down. And they let this lady acquire all this land and property. She's not the only one. And she owed the city like $10 million in taxes. Like, how in the hell do you even let somebody get all of that property and then owe you that much money? You get what I'm saying? So it's so much crookedness with Cook County. I'm so sick of their asses. But us as citizens, we have to speak out, especially if you pay taxes. Right? People who don't pay taxes, who just sit on their ass all day and collect checks, they don't care, right? But the majority of us who are working American citizens that pay taxes in this fucking country, you have to start speaking up. You can't just be okay with letting shit be the way it is, because that's how nothing changes. So, yeah. I'm ready to get like I don't know what the hell I'm gonna call it, a petition or what action. I'm gonna figure it out, a plan of action, because I want that scavenger sale. I can get so much more land and property with the scavenger sale than having to pay freaking 20 years of back taxes on one lot. That's dumb as hell. Like, dumb as hell. Y'all been sitting on this lot for 20 years and y'all want us to pay $20,000 for a fucking whack ass lot. Like, no. No. Patrick says credit. Okay, I saw that one. Do you know how to get the money? Do you know how to get the money from our birth certificate? Trust the guy, you talking too much on here. You talking too much on here. I ain't answering that on here. No, I don't. But I definitely have been doing some research. I'm gonna say that. But you talking too much on here. We can't talk like that on this free internet. I'm gonna start hosting some private sessions with me and Gary. Yeah, because y'all, it's a lot. Y'all need to become sovereign, get your sovereignty. So you're not listed as a birthright citizen here and all that stuff. It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. All that shit real. People used to think it was conspiracy theorists that talk like that back in the day. But I see my YouTube channel. Y'all are some smart people on here. But trust the guy, yeah, you talking too much on here, man. I ain't gonna read no more of your questions out loud. Okay, we gonna keep it in the comment section. We gonna keep it in the comment section. Man, when I used to talk like this 10 years ago, do you know how many people in Chicago looked at me crazy? Like in my direct, because you can't have this conversation with everybody. But like so many people in my direct network was like, what? Like you always on some conspiracy theorist shit. I'm like, this is why God keep me in the bubble. Because I'm too advanced for these motherfuckers. So I'm proud to see y'all on here talking heavy, baby. This is why I love YouTube, baby. This is why I love YouTube. This is why I love y'all. I promise I do. I'm going to have an event strictly for my YouTube community. I'm going to have an event somewhere. I'm figuring it out. Maybe in Florida. Maybe me and Gary going to throw something for y'all. So we can meet up in person in a private room and have some of these conversations, okay? But trust the God, you on the right track. Keep searching, brother. Keep searching. You say, I'm buying the 3 unit like you recommended. Come on here, trust the God. Let's roll. Let's roll. And yep, credit unions got mortgages too. They could do the same thing. Oh, yeah, I need that. Let you. Patrick say, writing this down like Deion Cole in his stands up. I hear Navy Federal is the best. It is the number one credit union. It is the number one credit union. I am an Army veteran and I've been with Navy Federal for over 10 years. They are very good. K-Mac, you an Army veteran. Do you got you a building? You know y'all got 100% financing for mortgages, K-Mac. You got you a building? I need you to use that veteran loan, K-Mac, and put that sucker to use, man. You being a veteran, thank you for your service. Be better say, get out your feelings. It's business. I'm new to it. Thank you for the video. Let's roll. Be better. Be better. Yes, I'm in the Austin area. Okay. I just put the text link on there. But Patrick, go on here. I mean, James, go on here to it. Because I think I signed up for one of them too. Because my investor, she want us to go. And I told her, they going to tell you the same stuff I've been telling you. And they're going to sell you a program at the end. But just for her to understand some of the stuff that I've been saying, we supposed to be going to the one. I think I signed up for the one on November. It's this weekend, right? I think I signed up for the one during the week, though. It's like a Wednesday or a Thursday or something. I think it's coming up this week. That it's 2 white guys that's doing them that I've seen the ads for. So she want to go. So that's the only reason why I'm going. But we not buying no package at the end. But it's okay to go and get the information and just learn, James. And then, you can come in on my program if you wanted to. But I still say go, James. Go ahead and go and get in the room just so you could hear the information and, more is never too much information. You say my county is very crooked too. It's corrupt. Cook County has so much history and influence. It's sad to see it. He say, I hear you. I'm definitely into we are smart. The algorithm couldn't keep us apart. I promise. Conspiracy is a term only used by people who only think in a linear way. Fear is with the lames. Oh, Patrick, I just love how you say stuff. You word things so elegantly. I need to learn how to do that better. I need to learn how to do that better. You say things so eloquently, Patrick. I love it. Conspiracy is terms only for people who think in a linear way. When people start commenting on my post, that's what I'm gonna start saying. You think in a linear way. You think in a linear way. Versus saying, bitch, shut the fuck up talking to me. I gotta start using some of Patrick lingo. You think in a linear way. I like that. I like that, Patrick. I like that. Because Peaches be on here ready to cuss a motherfucker out. I be so tired of these damn people on the internet with their little ass opinions. Like, baby. But I love the way you talk, Patrick. You do. You talk so eloquently. I can learn from you. I'm gonna put Patrick in parentheses. In hashtag behind it when I say it to them, Patrick. When I start responding to them that way, I'm gonna put your name behind them as a hashtag, Patrick. You think in a linear way. Fear is with the lames. Patrick, I'm using that whole sentence. You think in a linear way. Fear is with the lames. I promise. I'm taking that. I'm taking that, Patrick. I'm gonna put that shit on a shirt. You're gonna have me go print that on a shirt real quick. You think in a linear way. Fear, and you know we love to say lames in Chicago. Yo, lame ass. Fear is with the lames. And then I'm gonna put your name in hashtag under it. Patrick. I love it. I love it. K-Mac say, I'm also a member of USAA. And K-Mac, people be sleep on USAA. USAA decent too. People be, I've heard a couple of people. I don't personally have USAA. I opened an account with them and I never put no money in it. So I think they closed me out. But a lot of people be sleep on USAA too. Because I got a couple of clients that say they got some good credit card limits with their USAA account. So yeah, I love credit unions. I love them. I'm damn near about to open me up another one with DCU.org. So DCU Digital Credit Union. I think that's the term. Digital Credit Union. DCU.org. DCU.org will give you up to I'm sorry, not give you. So I haven't talked about this, the pledge loan, like how Navy Federal got, where you put your own money up, a secure loan, right? But I like secure loans, especially for people who maybe don't know how to save money or don't necessarily know how to save money, but have access to a lump sum of cash, like when they get when they get their tax refund or something. I'm getting off of Facebook, y'all, and I'm only on YouTube. Did you know that? Okay. What was I getting ready to say? DCU is decent as well, right? But the thing I like about DCU, they just like Navy Federal, they'll let you do up to $100,000 line of credit. So like, let's say Jerome, I don't know if Jerome is still on here, but let's say Jerome was talking about pulling that $100,000 in equity out of his property, right? Let's say that interest rate is 5%. He can take that $100,000 that he pulled out of his home equity line of credit, and he can go to DCU. I want to say DCU, their rate was like 0.50 more than Navy Federal. So I got my Navy Federal save and secure loan. I want to say it was 2.25%, 2.25%. So I did a $30,000 loan. So I put $30,000 of my own money into Navy Federal, and then it's called a save and secure loan. So I borrowed against it, right, for 2.25%. He could do that. So he can take, DCU would do $100,000 line of credit loan with the save and secure. So instead of him paying 5% for the home equity line of credit, he'll go to get the home equity line of credit, draw the whole $100,000 off. It's going to charge him 5%, right? This is just the example. He can go and put that $100,000 into DCU. I think DCU, if I paid 2.25, I think DCU was like 2.9. It was right under 3%. It's like 2.75 or 2.9%. Now, this was a couple of years ago, so y'all got to look and see what the rates are now. But they still going to be cheaper probably than, it's still probably going to be less than 3.25, right? So he would still be saving 1.75% if he did it that way. He can take that home equity line of credit at the 5%, if that's what they're going to charge him, open up his DCU account, move that $100,000 over there to there, and then borrow that. So they'll give him the cash. He'll put the $100,000 in there. Then they'll do the save and secure loan at the 3%. And then they're going to give him that $100,000 back because it's a loan, basically. So now he can go and pay that whole $100,000 off to the credit, to the bank, to the credit union, or what, I don't know, whatever he's using, a bank or a credit union, whoever he got his home equity line of credit through. And now he's paying less interest. He went from paying 5% to 3%. So he's saving 2% interest. And now he'll just be paying himself back every single month. You know what I'm saying? And not necessarily paying himself back, but he is. But basically, they letting you borrow your own money. And people don't understand that concept. They're like, why would you go and get a loan out against your own money? When the interest rate is that low, it could be worth it. Again, it's not for everybody. It's certain strategies and reasons why you do it or why you may do that. But that could be an option, right? You get a loan for 5, 6, 7%. Go ahead and get it, because now you could take that money to the credit union that offers it. Every credit union don't offer save and secure loans, but many do. That's the banking terminology. It's called a savings secured loan. Now, Navy Federal, they call theirs the pledge loan. DCU calls theirs something else. But the banking terminology is called a savings secure loan, right? But that is another strategy and way for you to have the money, have the lump sum, right? Put it in the bank, borrow against it, and then you're slowly paying it back over time. And guess what? When he paid the loan back, he's going to have $100,000 again. So it's like recycling your money. You know what I mean? So he got the 100 bands. He did what he needed to do with it because they gave him the 100 bands when he did the loan, right? So as you're paying the 100 bands back, guess what? You're rebuilding the savings account. So now the savings account is growing. Every time he make a payment, let's say he make a payment $1,000. Now it's $1,000 in the savings account. 5,000. Now it's 5,000 in the savings account. 10,000. Now it's 10,000 in the savings account. So every time he make a payment, it goes back into the savings account. So after he's done, he's going to have $100,000 again. It's literally like he borrowed the money, used what he needed to do with it, and then paid himself back over time for a very, 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 very low interest rate. Big box banks, personal loan is easy 14%. Right? Exactly. You recycle it as long as it makes sense that you're making a profit. The profit that he's making is him taking that 100,000 out and buying him another building. The building gonna pay for the 100, gonna pay the loan back anyway. right? So that was his point. His point was to pull $100,000 in equity out to buy another property. So when he buy that another property, the property payment, the rent payment that he get can pay the loan back. But I'm just saying that as an example. If his home equity line of credit was say 5% interest, he can go to DCU and put that $100,000 in his savings account and then borrow against that $100,000 at, I want to say, like I said, their rate was 0.50 higher than Navy Federal. So my loan rate with Navy Federal was 2.25%. I want to say at the time DCU would have been like 2.7 or 2.9. Regardless, it's cheaper than 5%. 3% is cheaper than 5%. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's the thing. And with that, y'all may not get it because I'm just saying it. It's better when I kind of write it out on the board. But I've already been on here over 2 hours tonight. I ain't doing that. Maybe I'll come on tomorrow and break down a Save and Secure loans for you all and the benefit from it. I do have a video on my YouTube channel. I might have put it in members only. So those who are a member and you pay the $4.99 a month to be a member, I got member only content that is not on my public YouTube page. I know for a fact I have a 3-hour Navy Federal loan in that membership for those of y'all that join the membership. But I may do that because I haven't done a Navy Federal loan topic in a long time on here. I got tired of doing it. I was doing it so much. I was doing it a lot on TikTok. I don't know why people be thinking they could just call me on the internet. I hate when people do that. Why do people be wanting to call you on Facebook? Now, ain't nobody responding to that. I don't take random Facebook calls. Borrow against it or recycle as long as you make profit. So he's putting that money to work instead of it just sitting there. Yes, right. So if he's going to get a home equity line of credit and pull out the equity of his property. I think you came in later on, Trusting God, but the conversation when I first got on here, I started talking about renting versus owning, right? And so Jerome has shared that he inherited a property and he already had $500,000 in equity. Right? That's wealth. Equity is wealth. Equity you could pull out. You could cash out equity, right? So he said he's gonna pull out $100,000 in equity and buy another building, buy another property. So I was just using that example to say, because when I talk to people about Save and Secure loan, it has to make sense, right? You just don't want to go get a loan on your savings account if you're not about to do nothing with the money, right? So the smaller example that I used, I think when I did the video on TikTok was like, if you got $10,000 in your emergency fund, right? And let's say something happens to your roof and now you got to spend $10,000 to fix your roof. Well, most people would just go to their savings account and just pull out the $10,000, but you don't have to do that. You can, if you had a credit union, you can get a savings secured loan, which means basically you are borrowing the money from your savings account. So instead of you pulling out the $10,000 and then now you no longer have a savings account, right? Now you got to build and start all over again, right? Well, what you could do is you can go and get a Save and Secure loan. It may be, 2 to 3%. Let's just say that, right? But now you're able to pay yourself back over time. And now you're able to rebuild your savings account. You get what I'm saying? Because some people don't know how to just put the money in their savings account. Some people put money in their savings account when they get their tax refund, right? Maybe they get a nice bonus check at the end of the year. And so maybe they get $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 in a lump sum. You get what I'm saying? So you don't want to, a lot of people don't know how to just not blow that money. You know what I mean? So a savings secure loan option is another way for you to still have that money, do what you need to do with it, but now you're paying yourself back over time. So if you did a $10,000 loan, let's say for 2 years, at the end of that 2 years, if you don't touch the money, because the other thing with a savings secure loan is as you pay it back, the money is available to you. So some people use it, or some people, will let it grow and borrow up. But at the end of that 2 years, now you have $10,000 in your savings account again. You get what I mean? So now you're not all the way out of money, right? So like I said, this not going to be something that's for everybody. It's got to make sense. It's got to be a strategy behind it. But I just was saying in Jerome's case, if he did get a home equity line of credit and the rate was like 5 or 6%, he would be better off going and putting that money in a savings secured loan, right? Put that $100,000 in that credit union, borrow against it, okay? And then they're going to release that $100,000 to him. So they're going to put that money on hold, and then they release it to you because they're only putting it on hold to create your loan. Then once they create your loan, they release the money to you. So now you can go and do whatever you need to do with that $10,000 or that $100,000. And then now you have monthly payments that you have to pay back. Okay. The other good thing with that is let's say you can no longer afford the payment. You could just call up the credit union and be like, hey, I want to close this loan out. I don't want to make any more payments on this, or I can't afford the payments anymore. They're going to close the loan out, and then whatever that you didn't pay back, you just don't get back. So let's say you paid the loan and you got $10,000 in your savings account. You just forfeit the other $90,000 paying it back. That's it. But guess what? You got the whole $100,000 anyway. You got the whole $100,000 anyway to do what you needed to do. You just was paying yourself back over time. But the beautiful thing with a savings secure loan is you can at any time say, well, I don't want to pay it back no more. I don't got the $1,000 no more to pay it, which technically you shouldn't, right? Because if you invested the money and flipped the money the right way, you should have had $1,000 in there. But it is what it is. Some people just don't want to make the payment no more, right? Life happens. Maybe you lost your job. I don't know. You know what I mean? But guess what? Now you can just close the loan out and it don't bother you. Now your score going to drop a little bit because whenever you close a loan or a credit card, it always drops a little bit, right? But now you're not hurting. You're not in debt. You don't owe nobody. Unlike a personal loan, you can't call the personal loan and be like, I'm no longer paying this money. They're going to sue you. They're going to put it on your credit report. They're going to collect it. You know what I mean? Like that's the difference between secured credit and unsecured credit. So sometimes it makes sense to do that savings secure loan depending on what you're trying to do. So that's why I said one day I'll get on here and write on the board with y'all about it because it's a lot if I'm just talking and you don't really see me like writing it out as to how it works. Okay. So I'm going to get off of here because I got a little work to do tonight. I got to do some more studying and I got some homework to do for my class, my property management class on Wednesday. So I'm about to get off of here, y'all. As always, fellas, because it's mostly fellas on here now. As always, fellas. I'm sorry, Dwayne. Hold on. I was talking. I didn't see you. You say you don't always answer mine. Don't do me like that, Dwayne. Don't do me like that. Let me see. I ain't see your question. Oh, no, you said I never answer mine. I hate that on Facebook. Yeah, okay. I thought you were saying I never answered yours. Yeah, I hate that Facebook feature. Like, who in the fuck just calling somebody randomly on Facebook and we gonna pick up? Like, if you don't got my real number, why you think it's okay to be calling me on Facebook? All right. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow, man. Rest up. rest up. We'll be planning this in-person session. Okay. I'm just making sure I went through everybody's comment. Basically using other people's money to make a consistent cycle of cash flow. Kinda, but you're using your own money. But in his case with the home equity, yeah, he using the property as the money, right? Because again, when you got equity in the property, that's cash. You can pull that down. You could use it, right? So you using the property's equity, right? If you own the property, it's your money too. But now you got access to cash that you didn't have access to before, all because you got equity in the property. So that's why we want you to get a building, trusting God, because the moment you get that building, if you bought that building today for $300,000, within a couple of years, that building should be more than 300,000, maybe 400,000, maybe 500,000. You get what I'm saying? So now you got equity. Now you got 100,000 in equity, 200,000 in equity. So that's what property and real estate does for you. It builds your equity. All right, X. Have a good night, fellas. See y'all tomorrow. Ma, you good?